if you could just give us a few moments while the meeting device software starts officially. Chair McLaughlin, the meeting is now recording.
Hello, my name is Janelle McLaughlin, and I'm Chair of ETAC, and I'd like to start this special meeting of ETAC on April 13th, 2021 at 4:23 in the afternoon. Would Commissioner Benninger say the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
Very good. Thank you, Janelle. Everyone follow me. Put your hand over your heart, please, and follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. Recording Secretary, would you please do the roll call for us?
Commissioner Sandoval Bailon.
Present.
Commissioner Benninger.
Present.
Commissioner Germain.
Present.
Commissioner Klein.
Present.
Commissioner Navarro.
Present.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Present.
Commissioner Wood.
Present.
Chair McLaughlin.
Present.
Chair, you have a quorum. Thank you all.
So would the recording secretary please describe the way that the public can access virtually and join this meeting?
At this time, we don't have any members of the public, but if anybody does happen to be listening, this meeting is being live streamed via the City of Santa Ana portal at www.santahana.primegov.com/public/portal. If you'd like to provide a public comment, you may do so on the City of Santa Ana portal. The opportunity to speak is going to follow this comment. If you wish to speak, please select the Zoom hand icon to let us know you would like to speak, and you will be called upon by the name you entered. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and we will alert you when your time is on. When your time is up, excuse me.
Thank you very much, Lori. Moving on to public comments and agenda items that are non-agenda items. Secretary, you announced that no one is wanting to speak, so can we move on to our consent calendar?
Yes.
And we have our consent calendar. We have 1, 2, and 3. Do we have any commissioners that are absent? I think we're all here, aren't we, Lori?
Yes.
This is excellent. So I'd like to put a motion on the floor to approve the consent calendar 1, 2, and 3. And when the commissioners speak, would you please identify yourselves by name? And do I have a second to that motion?
Yes, this is Commissioner Benninger. I second your motion.
Who made
So
the
there's
motion? Who made the motion, please?
Commissioner Benninger.
I thought he was the second.
Yeah,
Did you-
Janelle made
Janelle made the
I
motion.
made the motion.
Okay, thank you.
So I'd like to announce that Lori has given me a script today. I usually wing it, as you know. So I think we're all done there and the end of the consent calendar, Lori, and we're going to move on to the business calendar, correct?
Like, I would like to make a, do a roll call, not a roll call, but do a vote of the, for the motion that just occurred. So either say yay or nay, yes or no.
By name.
Commissioner Sandoval Bailon,
Is I an option? Yay.
Benninger, Commissioner Benninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Germain,
Yes.
Commissioner Klein,
Yes.
Commissioner Novato,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chair McLaughlin.
Yes.
Okay, it passed. Thank you very much.
So now we're moving on to the business calendar. Would staff provide a brief background on item 4, which is whether the ETAC bylaws, Article 3, meeting section 1, time will be amended? This vote will be for a selection of start time only, not a selection of location. Nabil, I know for many years that we're meeting at 7:30 in the morning, standing out in the cold at the door. So maybe you want to give some professional history. I'm just going to give weather history.
Thank you and welcome, commissioners. Glad to be here. ETAC bylaws specifies the time and the day of the meeting. We are providing you with 2 options tonight of the time for ETAC meetings. Option 1 is 4:00 p.m., which is the time that we are meeting today. The other option, keep it the same, which is at 7:30 on, both would be on the second Tuesday of the month. The staff recommends the time 4:00 because of a lot of logistical reasons. City Hall does not open until 8:00 in a normal day. So for you, the commissioners coming in, it would be kind of a difficult situation in that you have to wait for someone to unlock City Hall for you to come in. And like Chair McLaughlin mentioned that during the winter time, it becomes a difficult thing to deal with. We have to man the door basically for you. So to come in early, and a lot of our staff don't start until 8:00. So we favor the 4:00 start time. Although here we will accommodate your choice tonight. If you vote on option 1, it will be at the 4:00 start time. If you vote on option 2, it will be the 7:30 start time. Again, both are on the second Tuesday of the month. Again, that is in the bylaws of ETAC. Your vote, if it changes to 4:00, will have to go to City Council for approval. So if you vote today, we'll have to change the time. We'll have to go to City Council to bless that change. That concludes my briefing. I'm open for any questions. Any thoughts?
Any questions from our commissioners?
No, I've always been a supporter of 7:30 in the morning, but in this case, I think moving to 4 will be. I think moving to 4, I agree. It makes staff much more available to us. So I'll be voting for the 4:00 in the afternoon meetings.
Any other comments? What I'd like to say is that during COVID, this is very convenient at 4:00 because so many folks are working from home. The reason I know it went to 7:30 in the morning back in practically 1990 was that everyone had to be work at 9 or 9:30 and left to go. And so to volunteer, they could not leave their jobs at 4:00 in the afternoon. Will this be a hardship for anyone once we come out of COVID, that 4:00? Okay. Seeing as there's no further questions or discussions, we will vote on the issue changing the ETAC time. Option 1 is the commissioners are voting for option 1, which is to amend the bylaws and change the ETAC meeting to start at 4:00 on the second Tuesday of each month. And Lori, will you take the names as the votes go on? Yes?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
Wait.
option two.
Yes,
Yes.
we need a motion and a second.
No, I don't show that as being necessary as my notes say. So will someone guide me? I told you they got me on notes today. I think we have to have a vote first, don't we?
The item to
You know
pass-
what? I think I did make a mistake. We do have to have a motion for option one, which is for 4 o'clock. We need a motion and a second.
I will make the motion that we move the meeting time to 4 PM, second Tuesday of each month.
That was Commissioner.
Seconded by,
Commissioner Bailon seconds the motion.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and take votes. Commissioner Benninger, of course you said,
Ye-
of course
yes.
that's a yes. Dr. Klein,
yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chair McLaughlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Germain,
Yes.
Commissioner Bailon,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Yes.
Commissioner Navarro,
Yes.
So Secretary, we have,
we have 8 yeses to move, to change the meeting to 4 o'clock.
so we need nothing else done at this time.
No, I think we need to check on option 2 as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So no, I guess we do not need to vote again. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the motion. The vote on the floor, the motion by Commissioner Benninger and seconded by Commissioner Bailon to amend the ETech bylaws, Article 3, meetings, Section 1, time change only to 4 PM on the second Tuesday of each month. Do I need to take a vote?
Who is it that brings this
Okay, we already voted on
motion.
that.
question? This is
Yes.
Larry Klein. Who is it that brings this motion forward now to the city council?
Staff will.
This is a change of bylaws.
So I think Dr. Klein is asking, what is the procedure for presenting this to city council?
The bylaws don't usually get presented to city council.
We will be taking that action to city council for approval in the next available city council meeting. As we will schedule that item to go to city council in the next opportunity. So a resolution will have to be drafted, and then a staff report will be written, and then that resolution will be presented to the city council for approval. And we'll
Okay,
let you know
just to
when-
clarify, the clerk of the council said we don't have to. We could, but we don't have to present it to council. It's the ETech bylaws. And for transparency purposes, we can notify the public, we can.
So is my understanding we've done all of our housework here and we're all legal and we can move on?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. I'd like to move to item 5 and 6 on the business calendar. And the bylaws of the committee officers state that the chair and the vice chair shall be elected during the month of June. And because there's 2 months here before the next vote for the chair and the vice chair, I'd like to entertain a motion to remove items 5 and 6 from this current agenda and have the irregular election for chair and vice chair in the month of June. And I think by doing this, we will be able to have a working meeting next meeting. All of our new members will be advised of what the Brown Act is. And I also like to encourage you that the clerk of the council, you have to take an ethics like little seminar and answers, and you need to be signed off on that as well. And understanding the bylaws next month and a little bit about us so that we can move into our June meeting and everybody knows each other, everybody knows the background and has a full scope of what they're signing up for or volunteering for. So I'd like to ask for a motion. Can I make that motion myself, Lori?
Yes, you can, Chair McLaughlin.
So is there any, I'd like to make that motion, and is there any discussion? Then do I have a second to that motion?
Commissioner Germain,
A
second your motion.
Was that?
Commissioner Germain.
Okay.
Second your motion.
Okay.
So,
It was moved by Chair McLaughlin and seconded by Commissioner Germain to remove items 5 and 6 from the current agenda and have the regular elections for chair and vice chair in 2 months during the month of June pursuant to the ETAC bylaws. I'd like to take a vote. Commissioner Sandoval Bailon,
Yes.
Commissioner Benninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Germain, Commissioner Klein,
Yes.
Commissioner Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chair McLaughlin.
yes.
The motion passed.
Okay, so we're moving on to item 7 of the business calendar, which is the neighborhood block beautification contest. And staff recommends action. You're doing a presentation? Staff is doing a presentation?
Yes,
The floor is yours.
thank you. Lori, could you please allow me to share my screen?
Let me check on that. Just a moment, please. You should be able to share your screen now, Nabil.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Did you click on share screen, Nabil? There you
There
go.
we are.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to share with you our newest initiative in the Public Works Agency here, and it's called the Neighborhood Block Beautification Contest. We presented this PowerPoint presentation to the City Council a while back. To give you an overview, the Neighborhood Block Beautification Contest will launch in early 2021. It's sponsored by the City Public Works Agency. The contest is designed to encourage and promote community involvement in keeping Santa Ana a beautiful place to live, work, and play. The NBBC will recognize and reward residents of winning neighborhood blocks whose properties reflect their community pride and have an aesthetically pleasing appearance. All residents are encouraged to participate. Residents within a neighborhood block will be asked to assign a block coordinator who will be responsible for ensuring eligibility requirements are met and for submitting the block entry form. Entries will be judged by the Environmental Transportation Advisory Commission, you guys. Recognition will be done by the city manager, Public Works Executive Director, and corresponding council member of that ward. 3 winning neighborhoods blocks per ward will be let's start all over. Recognition, the city manager, block and Public Works Executive Director, and corresponding council member will recognize the 3 winning neighborhood blocks per ward with installed signage and $100 gift certificate for the participants. It is a citywide contest. Anyone can participate, and that's the idea. 50% of the homes on a block need to participate to qualify. A block is defined as a section of homes separated by a street at each end. This is a typical city block, and that's what we like to see. The block coordinator will be responsible for completing the submitting the entry form, which will include detailed information as well as before and after pictures or photos. Purification of parkway, fencing, front yard, and home are included. Conditions of streets and sidewalk will not affect the judging. Our timeline is promotion of the contest started in March and April. May 1st, the contest begins. May 21st, which is end of Public Works Week, is the application deadline. May 21st to May 31st, we would be reviewing the applications. June 1st through June 7th will be judging by ETAC. In July, the sign will be unveiled and the gift certificate presented and presentation made to the winning blocks and the participants. A winning block will be presented with an installed sign at each end of the block commemorating the neighborhood block's community pride. The final decision on the location of each ward sign will be determined by the City of Santa Ana Public Works Executive Director based on various factors, including the American Disabilities Act, safety, visibility, and aesthetics. This is a typical sign that we would hope to be installing at the beginning of the block. A sign will be installed at each end of winning block and would be fabricated in cast aluminum and mounted on a single pole, just like how you see it here. That concludes my presentation, and I'd like to see if you guys have any questions.
I'd like to ask.
Excuse me, would you identify yourself by name prior to speaking?
Yes, sorry about that. This is Commissioner Wood. I would like to ask 2 questions. Number 1, because I'm new, how is this being promoted so that residents are aware of the program? And number 2, how are the blocks that are going to participate or compete being selected?
Yeah, thank you for the question. We are really tackling the promotion of the contest in many ways, primarily on social media. You may, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you may have seen the promotion of this contest. In the same time, we're reaching out to all of the neighborhood associations during their meetings. We made a brief presentation to, I believe, ComLink. And so at any opportunity we have, we're trying to promote this, and we have handouts. We also have mailers. We are going to tackle this in many ways as the budget allows, but it would be mostly social media that we're trying to promote it through. I'm not sure what the other question is. What is a block, or how is a block determined?
I believe when we met last week, you had mentioned that there were only going to be 3 blocks per ward that could compete. So if you had 5 or 6 blocks asking to compete, how would you narrow that down, or how would we narrow that down?
Sure. Great question. We are encouraging for residents to participate, and we'd like to see 15, 20, 30 blocks participate. It's your tough task as a commissioners to select the top 3 in each ward. So we encourage that residents participate. We'd like to see more than 3, of course. I'd like to see 15, 20 blocks in every ward. But again, we can only at this time award the signs to the top 3 winning blocks. And again, that's going to be your tough task to judge and help us with.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Do we have any other commissioners that have questions related to this?
I just have this Commissioner Benninger, I have a comment to make. This does not influence ComLink's most beautiful yard. We look at individual homes in neighborhoods. This looks as a block. I really think this is a good complementary to each other, because this is going after the entire block, whereas we go after individual homes. And it is amazing. I know I sit on our judging panel for ComLink, and it always amazes me that the number of beautiful homes we have in Santa Ana. I think we'll have the same thing with this block program.
Great. I'm looking forward for it.
This is Chair McLaughlin with a question. Carl did mention the most beautiful yards, and the signs are given to the most beautiful yards, and they stay up for 1 year, and they then are taken down after that 1 year. So are we going to have these signs for 2021? We're going to have 3 signs, and then 3 more signs for 2022, and they're going to be all scattered through Santa Ana. Is that the dream of this?
Yes, and they will stay there for as long as they last.
So are you saying?
For a long time. In fact, they will be dated, as you may have seen. The sign itself has 2021 on it, and I'm hoping that it will stay there for a long, long time.
Any further questions, Dr. Klein?
No, I don't have any. I think it's a great program.
This is Commissioner Germain. I have a
Yes, Commissioner Germain, may I hear your question?
Yes. Now, would it be possible that a block that won in 2021 be a repeat award winner for 2022 or some other years thereafter? Or is there a time period to give the opportunity for other blocks to also proclaim the fame of the block.
Yeah, my preference is to, if a block wins, then that's it for that block. We would move into another location. At least that's my preference. And just keep in mind that this is our first contest, first year. In fact, we are getting questions about the definition of a block. People are getting creative in selecting the number of homes that they would like to participate. So there is a growing, I don't say pains, but we are trying to answer some of those questions and change our rules, maybe for next year, about the definition of a block, or at least make it more clear what a block is. So, you know, not all the streets the same in Santa Ana. But to answer your question, again, I would rather to have the sign given to another block next year and so forth.
And also, I have a second question and final question. Will there be a grading scale that we would be able to utilize as far as grading the block, or is it a matter of discussion, verbal discussion?
I'm not sure if I follow the question.
When we choose the council, Chair McLaughlin, when we choose scholarships, we are given like a Rubik matrix, and it is an equal matrix that we decide and choose and vote all the same. It's not arbitrary. So he's asking for a matrix for voting on that, which is a great idea.
Great idea. We'll probably have to develop something.
Thank you. And that concludes my questions.
So moving on from there, we're moving on to item 8 of the business calendar, which is the reporting option of My Santa Ana mobile app. And I believe we get to be one of those kids in school that the teacher puts on the movie, and we get to sit back and watch on this. Is that correct, Nabil?
You know, I do have a couple of videos, maybe 3 videos for you to watch, and I'm trying to see if I can share my screen. This is going to be an experiment. Let me see if I can.
How long are these videos? Can you give us a link to them?
They're very short. Okay, let's see. Do you see the video?
The city of Santa Ana cares about keeping our streets clean and safe. When you see an issue, it's easy to report it using the My Santa Ana app. Make sure you downloaded the free app on your mobile phone. Open the app and press the Report an Issue button. Choose the category that best describes the issue and the type of location.
Maybe you could maximize that.
The app will automatically geotag your location. And you'll take it.
Right.
Once you've submitted the report, it is sent directly to city staff, who will come out and resolve the issue. It's fast, it's easy, and before you know it, you've helped our city become better. Every little bit counts, and together we can help Santa Ana stay great. For more information about our efforts and the My Santa Ana app, please visit www.santa-ana.org/apps.
Did you guys see that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, there's another one that I'd like to play.
The city of Santa Ana cares about keeping our streets clean and safe. When you see an issue, it's easy to report it using the My Santa Ana app. Make sure you downloaded the free app on your phone. Open the app and press the Report an Issue button. Choose the category that best describes the issue. The app will automatically geotag your location, and you'll take a quick photo. Once you've submitted the report, it is sent directly to city staff, who will come out and resolve the issue. It's fast, it's easy, and before you know it, you've helped our city become better. Every little bit counts, and together we can help Santa Ana stay great. For more information about our app, Santa Ana app,
So you could
www.minimize.org/apps.
maybe
And I have another one for you. Can you hear me?
Nabil, we barely can hear these and we're running a little bit late. Could we maybe email that to everyone so they can look at it on their own time?
Sure. Sure.
I mean, we really cannot hear them.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay, so we can, any discussion on those apps from any of our commissioners?
Chair McLaughlin, excuse me, Commissioner Ward, may I make a quick comment?
I
Chair McLaughlin,
recognize, I cannot hear you, sir. Let me turn off my.
Yes, Chair McLaughlin, Commissioner Wood, I just wanted to make a quick comment. This app, I think, is brilliant. My spouse uses it like 3 times every day to report graffiti on his walks. And 12 to 24 hours, the city takes care of this. It's really a good app. I just hope that the city, that we promote that so that people know to download this. It's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood. We always make time for compliments. Okay, so moving on to item 9 on the business calendar, which is the bus shelter maintenance, which I believe is a verbal update. And I'm turning it over to you, Mr. Nabil.
Yes, thank you for that, Madam Chair. Bus shelters are cleaned right now twice a week by an advertising company named Clear Channel. The level of service is right now is not adequate to the level of transient and the use of the bus shelters, and specifically because of we have a huge influx of transient that are using the bus shelters for various reasons. And so at this point of time, we are working on retaining, previous to that, we have also retained, and this is something that we've done in a public works agency, I want to say about 3 to 4 months ago, that we retained 4 part-time staffers to clean the bus shelters and the trash around them on the days of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And that has worked really well for us. It was a great experiment. However, the use of part-time staffers was a challenge because part-timers tend to not to stick around for a long time. And once they find an alternate job, they would just move. So based on that experiment right now, we are, and the more frequent servicing, we are right now, we will be retaining a professional bus shelter company, maintenance company, in within a month to do just that and replace the company with, replace the part-timers with a company or the private vendor. And that will, the vendor would be covering the the cleaning of the bus shelters on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, just like how we did it with the part-timers, and in the same time keep Clear Channel to do twice a week. So we will have 6-day coverage of all bus shelters in the city coming within a month. So it is a contract that we are working on right now, and we found the vendor that is able to do that, and I'm hoping that the level of service of these bus shelters will improve tremendously, and we're looking forward to that. That is my update. I'm open for any questions.
This is Chair McLaughlin. I've talked bus shelters since 2019. So my question to you is, they've always been just blown with a garden blower. So is the part of the contract going to include water, not just disinfect, but include water on this?
A great question. There will be sanitization right now and limited pressure washing. Because of the amount of funding that we have to limit the service to collecting trash within 15 feet radius of the bus shelter itself, and limited pressure washing. In the next 6 months, we will be going out for an RFP to better get a bigger company and do what you're talking about, a complete maintenance of the bus shelter system. That is coming in the next 6 months. But for now, this company will help us at least get control of what we have right now in terms of trash and changing of cleaning the trash around it and cleaning the trash receptacles on a daily basis. Again, we'll be going out with a bigger contract in the next 6 months.
So as I hear this, is that there is really no water now until it goes out for an RFP. It's still just a disinfect and a blower and trash?
Yes, that's correct. It will be, we will have a limited pressure washing.
So, in terms of that, I went and researched Anaheim. Of course, it's Disneyland. Of course, their bus shelters. They actually do high pressure power washing twice a day to their bus shelters. So in terms of how our industry has changed with our homeless situation, I very much would like to have ETAC involved in the RFP or the understanding of what that is. Is that something that can be done, sir?
We can share the RFP with you before it goes out. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Any other commissioners that have comments here?
Two things. What are we spending now on the bus stations, and what do you anticipate this new contract? How much is this going to cost us?
Great question. Right now, what Clear Channel is doing is due to the because there is advertising revenue that comes with the bus shelters. The service right now is based on advertising revenue, which is non-existent right now because of COVID, and so the revenues are not as high as they used to be, and therefore we really cannot improve on the Clear Channel contract because there is no money coming in through the advertisement. The idea with the bus shelter maintenance was the advertisement would pay for the maintenance, but right now that is not happening. So we cannot adjust the level of service coming from Clear Channel, and therefore we are commissioning this new vendor to come in and do the weekend work, basically I call it, on a I believe $150,000 a year contract, and we had to limit we have 600 locations. That's a lot of locations for someone to maintain on a $150,000 contract. So therefore the level of service will be, like I mentioned, is collecting the trash, cleaning the area within 15 feet radius, and that will allow us to make things better until we get this contract out to bid with the RFP. But again, funding, even for that RFP, is in question. We don't have the funding. We've always relied on advertisement revenue to pay for the service.
Commissioner Bailon here, and who is in charge of advertising? Is Clear Channel also handling that?
Yes, Clear Channel is in charge of the advertisement that is on the bus shelters.
And due
This
to
is
COVID,
where,
I'm sorry, and due to COVID, they said they haven't been able to advertise?
Yes, revenues are down, absolutely. In fact, we had to go to, they actually wrote us a letter in the beginning of COVID requesting that the revenue would be declined, and we can't, the contract with Clear Channel is, I want to say, about 10-year contract that we have not adjusted. So the cost of the service continued to go up, but the price or the revenue for advertisement have declined, and so we can't adjust the level of service without having a new contract with Clear Channel.
And I'm sorry, remind me again, when is the RFP going out?
In the next 6 months.
Dr. Klein, I think you wanted to make a comment, sir?
Yes, with the new RFP that you'll put out in the next 6 months, is it possible to include a digital sign in the 600 bus shelters, or in some of them, that would give passengers the ETAs of the next bus, since the buses probably have GPS in them?
That is when we are upgrading our bus shelters, and we have to distinguish between bus shelters, infrastructure and furniture versus maintenance and advertising. So none of our bus shelters have LED panels or technology, but in the future, we will be looking at that to see if we can have in our budget to pay for the LED panels and the information. Absolutely, we wanted to look into that and make it happen where we can. Just to give you an idea too, those bus shelters, we compete for those. City does not have, or the general fund is not giving us any funds for the bus shelters. Those bus shelters come from us on a competitive grant from the OCTA, Orange County Transportation Authority. So when we win these grants, we install the bus shelters, and some of the features were limited on how much funds we have per shelter. So it's not, maybe, I want to grab a number, I think it's $30,000 per installation. That's all we're allowed. So, and sometimes that is not enough for us to equip the shelter with technology.
You had said that you'll look at putting in this technology in the future. Is there any time frame for that look? Do you think that you can do it within 1 year, 3 years, 20 years?
In the next 3 years. Because we are changing, we're upgrading some of our bus shelters. But again, advertising funds is what pays for the maintenance and the upkeep of the bus shelters. And if the advertising company would come in and put those LED panels and we're successful in that, we would ask for that type of information to be included in the messaging. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I know that many cities in this country and in other countries presently do provide that type of service to their transit riders. Even the Washington Metro does, say.
Is it a bus service or a rail service?
Well, that is rail, but a lot of buses around the world where I've been in various cities have them. And I think I'm just guessing here, cities like Minneapolis or other places where it's very cold might give passengers that type of data.
Thank you, Dr. Klein. Again, this is Chair McLaughlin. I have a question. The bus shelters are being used as bathrooms. So the fact is we're in COVID now, and is there any way that there are COVID dollars, or how long is this contract? What year are we in, depending on advertising, and what is the opportunity to do something with the COVID money, the emergency COVID money? Because they truly are in my neighborhood. I mean, I'm at 17th Street and I go down that, and I'm sure everybody is having the same issue, that they're the newest bathrooms around. So my question is COVID money.
Yeah, during COVID, in fact, I want to say from August of last year all the way to December of 2020, we pressure washed all of the and disinfected all of the bus shelters on a weekly basis. And we used COVID money to pay for that. However, COVID money is non-existent right now, so we had to suspend the disinfection of the bus shelters and going back to just changing trash. So we did use COVID money for that particular reason, and it was very successful, but it wasn't cheap. We did use COVID money again for that, and it was pretty. It was good. It was successful, and it made a difference. The bus shelters and the benches looked a lot nicer and clean. Right now they're a little cleaner, but we need to continue. I agree with you.
Well, that's why I brought it up last month. Any other questions on bus shelters?
Yeah, Commissioner Bailon here. Just a last question, Nabil, regarding the RFP and our ETAC bylaws. You mentioned you're going to share the RFP with us, but how much can ETAC get involved, if at all, with that RFP proposal?
You know what? We will develop the scope of work and will allow you to take a look at the scope of work and analyze it and come back for suggestions or improvements. I think we do have a really robust RFP, the scope of work, but again, we will share it with you for comments and recommended changes.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Understanding that there are no further questions, let's move on to item.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this is Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Germain.
Yes, I recognize you, Commissioner Germain.
Thank you. So my question would be, right now we're looking at a contract that's current still with Clear Channel, or does that have sunset?
The current contract with Clear Channel is still in existence. They maintain our bus stops twice a week, which is not enough. We are looking at another vendor to come in and supplement their contract 4 days a week, primarily on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because that's when I think it's needed for the city. Things happen over the weekend that we need to keep up with the cleaning of the bus shelters. So that's the idea. Again, funding is limited. I would love to pressure wash twice a day, but that's very, very expensive. But we want to do better. I recognize the problem. I drive the city every morning and I see the issues. So this, I think, will make things a little bit better until we're ready to go out for the bigger RFP and looking for more funding.
And so with the current contract, is there a sunset on it?
You know, Clear Channel's been actually nice in keeping the contract because it expired, but it's still going. We need to go out for an RFP to hire them either back again or get another company like Outfront or Lamar or one of those other advertising companies to compete for the same service. But we haven't been able to go out to renew that contract.
Excellent. And so my question ultimately would be, will this RFP will go out to best responsible, best quality for the city and not for the lowest bid rate? Or
it's interesting. Thank you for asking that question. Contracting laws require that we go with the lowest bidder, qualified bidder. The bid has to be responsive, meets all of our criteria, And once that is determined, then we look at the price. So if the price is reasonable and it's affordable, then we would go with it. But the scope of work has to be equal before we decide on the cost or the pricing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lose my questions.
Hi there. I also had a question.
Sure.
Identify yourself, please.
Hi, Tanya Navarro. So
You're
my question
recognized.
is, our funds right now are being allocated towards power washing, or potentially towards power washing as a solution for people using the bus stops as potentially bathrooms. So to me, that seems like we could potentially allocate funds instead to a couple of porta potties or maybe publicly used restrooms, since I don't think we have that many. And because of COVID right now, a lot of them are shut down, especially in the parks. Even water fountains are shut down at the moment. So do you think that would ever be feasible in our budget to instead invest into a couple of porta potties as opposed to potentially just power washing all the time?
You know, it really is difficult to maintain those porta potties, and they're not free, by the way. The cost for one of those porta potties, I think, on a monthly basis, you know, I don't know, on a weekly basis, help me out. Would that be like about $100 a week for the porta potties? And like I mentioned, we have 600 plus bus stops. I don't think that is it's a difficult situation. When you provide porta potties, you still have to maintain them, and you're going to assume that people will use them. And they will be in the public right of way. It is kind of a difficult situation to really address. I think pressure washing is the way to go. Once we send out this RFP and get a new company in, I assure you those sites will look a lot better. It's just we need more frequent trash collection and trash cleaning around these, and they will look a lot better. And of course, pressure washing. We have areas what we call hotspots in the city, and the hotspot basically it's the shelter or the location that it's always dirty. There's a lot of people frequent that site. So you know, we would focus on those hotspots more than others, but and staff is very keen about knowing where these hotspots are, and the bus shelters or the bus benches that are frequented by transients, and we would be focusing on those, and that's the idea. So yeah, porta potties is a difficult situation to deal with. Yeah,
you're right on. It was 75 to 100, and that's with minimal servicing. Yeah, with minimal servicing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $100 a week for those porta potties, and you know, I've seen them being tipped over, and that's a problem.
Thank you. That concludes my question.
So just wrapping that up, I am from the San Francisco Bay Area, and they tried to do bathrooms as you're suggesting, but it actually came out to be a security problem because of taking people in there or abducting them, or it really turned out to be a very serious security problem as well. That's my little bit of knowledge. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time, folks. Moving on to item 11 and 12. Is that correct, Lori?
10.
Yes, that's correct.
11 and 12.
No, I'm sorry, item 10.
Item 10.
Item 10 is the sewer cover update.
Okay, sewer cover update.
You hear? You hear?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Cesar Barrera. I am the Deputy Public Works Director at Water Resources Manager for the City of Santa Ana. I'd like to thank you for your time this evening. And what we're going to do is go a little bit overview, have an opportunity to showcase our sewer manhole maintenance program we have going. And with that, it gives us an opportunity to leverage and be able to give an overview for our sewer system at the same time. Today's goal is to discuss the following: the overview of the City of Santa Ana sewer system, the citywide maintenance programs in place that we have. We will also be exploring concerns regarding sewer manhole covers and why do they rattle, and how the city addresses the concerns through our repair and rehabilitation program. All right, just a quick overview. I'm not sure how many of us know, but just to give you a snapshot of what we maintain and manage on a daily basis. We have about 48,500 sewer laterals that we maintain, 9,000 manholes, and that's the culprit there, right? And 2 sewer lift stations and 390 miles of sewer main that we maintain on a daily basis. It's nice here in Santa Ana that we're fairly flat, and I'm not sure. So our sewer system, I don't know, for those who are not familiar with it, is basically based on gravity. So as soon as you use your water, you see if you take a shower, flush your toilets, it naturally, just by gravity, will go down through the conveying system, pipe system. Sorry. Ooh. What we're sharing? Sure. Should we try it again? There you go. You want to back it up a little bit, or
yeah, sure.
We apologize about that.
Okay.
All right. There's our intro review. Go ahead and go. We just skipped it.
So,
all right. Those are today's goals for the presentation. And what you see in this sheet, can everybody see this sheet, this screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Underneath, you'll see a quick snapshot, and we'll continue to go on a piece of equipment, and that's our Vector trucks that we use out there. That's what we went through. Go ahead and Bill. We went over our goals. This is the city sewer system. So since this is where we're talking about the 48,500 sewer laterals, 9,000 manholes, the 2 sewer lift stations, and 390 miles of sewer. Where I was getting at is City of Santa Ana is fairly flat, thank God, because we only have to lift the sewage at 2 different locations, and we only have 2 sewer lift stations. I know cities that have 14. The challenging thing is their maintenance and challenges to keep running day to day. And our sewer is, once you guys will use water, flushing toilets, taking showers, it's just by natural gravity, we convey it through our system, 390 miles of conduit that we have and pipes underground. And it's taken to Orange County Sanitation District for treatment. Santa Ana does not treat any sewage water. We only convey it. All right, let's look at overview. The city's maintenance sewer system throughout the following means. We preventive maintenance services. Every 15 months to 390, we do 390 miles of sewer main are jetted. But we're trying to do that. Vector truck you see in the vehicle, that's basically our shop vac on steroids. What it does is it has water, and we jet our collection system, our pipes, right? We run a jetter in there just like a typical plumber would do, but these are fairly large, sophisticated pieces of equipment, and we clean the sewer system every 15 months. We go to 390 miles. We have 2 trucks and 1 on standby at all times on operations on a daily basis, with exception of the weekends. Inspection services. Every year, we also inspect up to 50 miles of sewer mains are inspected through CCTV. The little robot arm underneath that picture there, that's what we hire a contractor who has sophisticated technology that launches this robot up the sewer pipes, and we video and record, and also take a lot of data from that, just to assess pipe assessment. the sewer system. But before we can run a camera, they also do jetting. And in an effort to get into the sewer system, they have to remove the manhole covers. Right? Let's go to the next screen. Yeah, it takes a little bit. Well,
That's it, yeah. Sorry about that. It's not me.
yeah, it's a technical difficulty.
Okay.
All right. Sewer manhole covers concern, right? When we access, because we have to maintain it through jetting or a camera, we have to remove the manhole cover, right? And when we access, when we put them back, they don't really fall, the covers don't fall exactly at every place. So what causes, what can potentially cause a problem in the future, right? Caused by rocket movement between manhole covers and frames that aren't really settled right. They're not sitting in right. And when vehicles drive by it, the loading of the traffic alone will rattle these framing covers. And also deterioration concerns caused by wear and tear will also create this rattling effect. All right, how does the city address these concerns? Again, you can see in the picture that manhole cover and how we open it up, we have to access to it. It's very heavy cover. And what we do is to repair some repair concerns. There's concrete collar replacement. We do routine replacement of concrete collars. And then we also do rehabilitation repair of manhole covers. We'll do cementitious polymer-based coatings and sealed inserts, which the seal inserts around the manhole cover itself will most of the time, 90% of the time, repair that rattling concern that we do run into. And we also do protective coatings. With that ends our presentation. And if you have any questions, and also if we ever get any of these sewer rattling manhole covers, please report all concerns related to sewer to 714-647-3380. And also, as we were talking earlier this evening, My Santa Ana app, you can also report them through there. And it'll quickly come back to the water department so we can take care of it. Thank you again for your time. And if you have any questions.
Yes, this is Commissioner Benninger. Has there been a theft problem with manhole covers? Some cities experience this because of the weight, and they can, make money on it.
Okay, great question. Thank you for the question. And Santa Ana, I've the last been here for 22 years. We have not seen an issue with that, but we have seen them float. So what happens is sometimes, not necessarily in the sewer system, but what happens in the storm drain system, it gets overcharged, and you'll see a cover float down the street because of excess water coming out. But not in the sewer side. We've seen them in the storm drain side.
Larry Klein, question. You had said that you, I forget the number, but you flush or you jet flush quite a few miles of sewers every year. While you do that, does the jetting let you know if there's a failure or if a section needs some other type of repair that you don't pick up with the 50 miles that you inspect every year?
So great question. And it does. It can tell you something's going on, because as they're jetting, we sometimes pull out what's called tiles, right? Our sewer system is comprised of clay pipes. And what happens when you put high pressure, about 1500 PSI to nozzle on that sprayer, sometimes you do happen to pull tiles off, right? And it's not like a tile on the floor, but we call them tiles, but it's chunks of pipe that comes with it. And once we start noticing that, what it'll do is it gives us an advance notice quickly to the operators to come in and bring in the cameras right behind it. And they'll launch a camera through to locate that actual piece of where it came from, and we can mark it out above ground, locate the actual location of that repair that needs to be made, and we can visually see it. It's pretty neat. Yes.
Thank you.
And we do roughly, we try to get through the whole city within 15 months. And we videotape 1/8 or about 50 miles of sewer main every year to get an update, an assessment, a pipe assessment.
This is Commissioner. Whoops. McLaughlin, may I go ahead and speak? Commissioner Wood?
Yes, Commissioner Wood, please proceed.
Thank you. So the 9,000 manhole covers, just for my own edification, that doesn't include a lot of the new communities being built in Santa Ana are private communities. They're gated and they have manhole covers and sewer systems that are private. So those are not counted, correct? And do you have any difficulties interacting with those as they relate to the city sewer system?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Wood. We have our whole entire system digitally mapped out, and we know where it's private and where it's public. And we do communicate with private communities on locations where we know there's a trend, an issue. It's either periodically, every 3 months, every year. So we do have, because of past practices, issues we've built relationships with those areas that are private, but those manhole 9,000 are not included in our count. But we do work closely with the ones.
Thank you very much.
Are we ready to conclude? The question is from Commissioner McLaughlin. Like sandbags that are in front of the sewers at certain times of the year, it's not like during rainy season. May I ask what those are for and how are those used in the sewer system?
Can you repeat it again? Sandbags? Was that right?
It's like straw bags and a roll.
Okay. That typically, we call our technical terminology here a waddle.
A what?
Waddle. Yeah. And they're usually used for any type of runoff, right? To keep debris, filter out water, right? Like you'll see it around construction sites for erosion control, to maintain the sediment, to separate the sediment from the water, because ultimately it does end up in our storm drain. So when you see it around the manhole cover, 9 times out of 10, it's because usually that manhole cover is to a storm drain, goes to an actual storm drain that drains into the ocean. And that's where you see those waddles be placed around.
Thank you. Okay, I believe that ends our business calendar, correct, Lori?
Yes, that's correct.
We are moving on to 11 and 12. That's what I have on my, correct?
Staff member comments, that's correct, Chair McLaughlin.
So do we have any staff member comments?
I don't have any comments.
I just want a bite of your sandwich, Nabil. Oh, yeah, I saw that wink there. Okay. All right. I'd like to explain to our commissioners that what we do is the responsibility of the chair is to meet with the Executive Public Works Director prior to our ETAC meetings to set an agenda. We find our agenda from our commissioners as well as bringing forward from Public Works as a whole. So I'd like to take this opportunity, since we have a lot of new folks here, and the reasons they joined us is, what would you like to see on future agendas? And everybody knows that my number one thing, sorry, Pedro, is a general plan for an urban forest, and how we make money or plan the budget for it or go after grants. So that always is my number one, and how we finish our medians that we started, and how we deep root water the medians that we have not. So that has continued been on the agenda over and over again. So that just gives you an idea of perhaps what some of the commissioners might like to see in the future. I think Commissioner Benninger, you've always wanted to have the opportunity to do a West Coast tour, and if that could be done by remote or way later in person, but it might be something that we can plan remotely. Carl, what do you think?
I think that'd be great to have, this is I'm sorry, can't speak right now, but yeah, I think it's something we could do remotely, have them come aboard and talk about what they do for us, their schedules. I think that'd be great. What I was going to add, what I would like to see added to the to our discussion, is I'd like to have OCT come and talk about the light rail that they're putting. 4th Street is getting torn up in many different ways, and I have concern of the grading that they're putting in. I'd like to explain how the project is going and answer any concerns that we have. So I would definitely like to see a presentation from OCTA about the light rail project and how that is going.
Very good. Any other commissioners would like to have?
Yes, please. This is Larry Klein.
Dr. Klein, I recognize you.
Last month, I asked to be briefed on what's being done at the corners to finish curbs to give access to the handicapped, especially on intersections where the curbs are crumbling. And I would like to know when staff can give us that update, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Klein. I'd like to put a request that with all of our new members, that we have a telephone roster. And if anyone does not want to go on with their private number or their private email, but in years past, we have a telephone roster. I know that other commissions have it as well. And next month, we'll learn how we cannot contact more than 2 people or daisy chain and all the specifics. That I think it's nice that we share our telephone roster and email roster, if that can be done. Is that okay, Lori?
I will check with the clerk of the council to see if that's a problem.
Thank you very much.
I'll let you know. Thank you.
I also know, in speaking to some of the members over the years, that we're not all on the Nexel, and that we're not getting the equal distribution of all the Nexels. Some get just the city managers, some get the public works, and I'd like to ask how we get on, all of our commissioners get on the complete Nexel blast. So they have a choice to maybe study a certain thing, or they can skip it, but at least we all come to our meetings with the same level of opportunity of knowing what's going on in the city. So is that something that can be done by the next meeting?
I will consult with either the city manager's office or our public information officer, and we will get back to you. But you can all enroll yourselves in the Nixle messages, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, is check to make sure it's all uniform for you.
Okay. Sorry, I do have the questions. Parking permits come under our jurisdiction, and I understand March 4th, they had about a 4-week backlog on parking permits, and it was only by appointment, and that no one could come in, and there was no access online to renew your parking permits. What are we doing on renewing parking permits online or providing that opportunity for our residents? Can we put that on the agenda next month and reviewing that, Nabil?
Sure.
Do you know if we're still 4 weeks behind on our parking permits for an appointment?
I believe so. There is a backlog, and because of COVID, we are limited to appointments only. However, I believe that the residents have been accustomed to the appointment system, and in fact, we are renewing more and more of these permits through the mail. So that's working somehow. And but yeah, we're still behind. COVID and lack of full-time staff for that program restricts us from really doing better than 4 weeks.
So can we review, because I know people getting tickets and they can't renew their parking permit. So how that's handled, maybe we can review next week, and what is the plan to put online this process as well.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions from our new members of what they would like to see or add to the agendas? I don't want to hear crickets here. Come on. Thank you. I recognize Nancy.
Yeah, Nabil, with this kind of introductory meeting next week, could you do an overview of ETAC and what does fall under us? Maybe it is self-explanatory, but I'd like to know specifically what we have not necessarily control over, but what we can oversee, help with, and work with you guys on. I think in the meetings that I've attended, I'm still not really exactly clear, and I'd like to be, so that I can be effective in these meetings.
Will do. Next week, I don't think we have a meeting next week.
I believe we're saying next week when we mean next month, so we're not scaring you.
Ideally every week.
I don't remember having an introduction with you. You're more than welcome to come to our offices here in the City Hall, and I have a brief presentation for you, and also I can show you around if you like to see what we do here. You're more than welcome. If you could just arrange with Lori on you come in at your convenience. You can come in and we can chat and give you that overview, at least of what Public Works is about, and talk to you about ETAC and so forth, and provide you that background.
So my interpretation of this is that Nancy's been on ETAC for almost, 2.5, 3 years, 3 years. And I think there's always been a report and file. And I think TAG in 2019 said ETAC was only report and file. And then we had the discussions and the clarifications that we were not just a report and file commission, that we were an advisory commission, but at the same time, we had no way to advise City Council, and there was no clear process and procedure. And prior to joining, I do have to say I have had 4 public works directors and 4 city managers in the 4.5 years I've been here. but I believe William and I had worked on doing processes and procedures and looking at that. So I hear Nancy's question more of that, not a tour of the offices. But really, what can ETAC really vote on or have a true commitment of our time and what we can see done with it? So that's the way I interpret her question, sir. Nancy can speak for herself.
Yes, that's exactly where this comes from, specifically the meeting regarding received and file, because it's great. I love to hear all the reports. I love to be informed, but for in all intents and purposes, this can be sent via an email as well. So I want to contribute, but I'd like to know how much, and I hate to use the word control, right? Because we're all involved in this, but if we're gonna make contributions, I'd like to know where we can make that impact. And if there is that opportunity, let's spend the time on that instead.
Yeah, it is an advisory committee to the city council. That's what your commission is. So you advise those that have elected you to be on ETAC on the issues. We would share the information and take your feedback and recommendations. But again, it is just advisory. It would not give you the power to make changes.
And that's only, environment, transportation, what's on our name of our commission, is that right?
Right.
And that's everything.
Yes, there is one particular field that you can make a decision on, which is the removal of city trees. So if someone is petitioning to remove a tree and the tree is healthy and staff think that tree is, there's no need for us to need, it's healthy and shouldn't be removed, we would come to you with the application, with a petition. There is a fee for that, and then you get to vote on that, and you can make a decision on the removal of that tree or not removing that tree.
And that's so long as we get it in a timely fashion, however, isn't that correct?
Well, it depends on the nature of the request. If, like I mentioned, if it is a healthy tree and it's the resident that's asking for the removal of that tree, then it'll come to you. Even if a developer is requesting the removal of the tree, of a city tree, then we'll come to you to vote and approve on that removal. And typically, if a developer is requesting the removal of a tree, we would ask them to replace that tree with other trees to compensate for the loss of that the tree they're removing or so.
And that's the only item to your knowledge that we have actual authority over. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Chanel McLaughlin.
Thank you as well.
So I'd like to share with the commission, because it's new, and prior to Nabil, you've been in the job permanently. When were you assigned and put into the job permanently, sir?
It's been a year now.
Okay, so prior to your arrival, ETAC did provide a written report to City Council and the city manager, and it was our recommendations, and it was our request, and it was request regarding, let's again go back to how many trees we were requesting to be planted, how many trees that we were requesting to have water. So we did an ad hoc and committee that worked with your tree people, and as well as directly from Fred Massafier to Fuad, and presented that to the city manager. And we sat in the city manager's office, and we sat in the microphone at the city council. So we do have, I mean, to bring our 2-hour commitment here, we do have opportunities to make impact and bring forward possible change or recommendation in that manner. Is that not correct, sir?
Yes, you can make recommendations, absolutely.
Okay, so we're in the recommendation here of what we would like to see. I'd like to understand too why the planning department is in charge of historic street trees and why ETAC is not in charge of historic street trees. Maybe we can have a presentation coming up on explaining why that is, because our bylaws are that we're in charge of street trees, but in fact, historic street trees. And what is the definition of a historic street tree?
Will do.
Thank you. I'd like to make note that Dr. Klein also found quite a few things in the species book, and I'd like to know if all of our new commissioners will be getting a copy of the updated species book, and will our commissioners be getting a copy of the corrected species book? And when will the website be corrected with all the notations that Dr. Klein found in that presentation?
I can answer that right now. Thank you for the question. The species book had some typographical errors and some jargon there, so we corrected that. It's being uploaded to the website. It's we have a proceeding process, so it goes to our information technology department, and it's being uploaded. We'll provide the final copy to each and every commissioner, and we're waiting for the new commissioners to come on board. So we will mail that again in the spirally bound format that you received the draft in. Again, it was a final draft, so you will receive the final version very soon, and it will be uploaded onto the website very soon as well. It's already been in the process.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Klein, for doing your excellent eyeballing. So are there any other future items? And you can definitely think about it and bring forward at the end of each meeting. We do this, and I think it gives us a list of what we would like to see coming our way. So with no further questions, can I ask each commissioner to make a final statement? We always go through each commissioner and ask them to say something at the end or make comment or bring forward something that they would like to see. So since I don't have the list, oh, I do have the list of the commissioners. So I see you, Dr. Klein, so I'm going to call on you first. Would you like to make any comments at the end of this meeting prior to adjournment?
I think I've said my piece here, and I'd like to thank the staff for their presentations and for their kind response to the questions that I raised.
Thank you. Commissioner Germain?
Yeah, I wanted to just take notice on the beautification project that is open for the beautification project that's taking place. Great program for the city to go through, and just wanted to acknowledge that. But besides that, good evening.
Commissioner Navarro.
Hello, this is my first meeting, so I just want to comment and say thank you to everyone for your welcoming demeanor and for answering questions and helping me through the process. I look forward to working with you all moving forward.
It's wonderful to see your bright, shiny young face. So, Commissioner Wood.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure to rejoin ETAC and get to meet all my fellow commissioners, even if it's by Zoom. I look forward to working with you. And by the way, Chair McLaughlin, I will have some input, I think, down the road on things I'd like to see on the agenda, but I wanted to defer since the list is pretty lengthy right now. So thank you.
Excellent. Carl, Commissioner Benninger, my sidekick.
I just like to welcome all the new members. Welcome back a few old members. I'm very excited that we're finally getting back together. I think that I've missed that getting back together. I think the city's missed us, our input. And so I look forward to these meetings inside the future and covering what we cover. And again, thank you for staff for supplying all that is there. And those who are my age that haven't get vaccinated yet, get vaccinated. That's the only way we're going to get beyond this. And I point to my state of Michigan, and the sad point is the governor is asking for more vaccinations. The problem is she has them, they just haven't been given out, or people haven't taken them, like my beloved younger brother who feels it's his right not to get them. Get a vaccination.
Now that's our commercial. That was a free commercial. We didn't have to ask for that commercial to be done. So thank you very much, Carl. Nancy, do you have anything that you'd like to add for the end of this meeting?
I spoke a lot, quite a bit today too. So I just want to thank the staff for all their time. All the efforts don't go unnoticed for sure. Thank you.
So I'd like to adjourn the meeting today of April 13th at 5:58 p.m. and thank each one of our staff members for making this possible and all the work that goes into it before this time.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
I forgot, Commissioner Vasquez.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner Vasquez, I have you here circled next.
Commissioner Vasquez here. I just want to say I'm a big fan of the block beautification project. It's a great way to get the community together and start getting them to work together just to see just a little, I guess, interaction, especially right now during COVID where we're not getting much interaction right now. It's great just to start promoting that between neighbors, possibly neighbors they've lived years next to each other. They never really talk to each other. It's probably a way just to start sparking new friendships within the communities.
I agree.
I look forward that we have, 63 neighborhoods, and out of the 63 neighborhoods, I think we only have something like 52 active neighborhood associations. So I look forward to that area so that we can communicate. But remember, you're the representative to communicate back to your ward and listen to your ward of what they have to say and bring forward to your neighborhood association for the beautification project. Comlink is very well connected, and I think they can also help us on this block beautification as well. So sorry to miss you, and I'd love to know how you can sit still so long. Commissioner Vasquez, I move around and you just are such a good student. I'm very impressed, and I look forward to getting to know you. So with that, we can adjourn, right?
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
can you tell me we can adjourn? Thank you very much, and good night, and everybody be safe.
Good night,
Good
all.
night. Thank you.